welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about Tropical Storm Hilda in the East Pacific, which just formed during the day yesterday. So if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Now let's get right on into it. Tropical Storm Hilda currently has maximum sustained winds of 45 miles an hour, minimum central pressure of 1,003 millibars, and is moving west at 16 miles an hour. So one of the three storms that we are watching has formed. So let's look at some of the details here, starting off with our warnings and cone. So currently we are at tropical storm strength with Hilda, and that'll eventually lead to a hurricane. Now, right now, the strength of this storm could be up in the air just a little bit, but the track here is a little bit better confined into this route here, where this storm starts to turn more toward the northwest, and that moves it into colder waters, and eventually it does slow down and deform back into a tropical storm. Now let's move on here to the arrival time of winds with wind speed probabilities turned on. And you can see that there is a 100% chance of tropical storm force winds throughout Sunday at 8 a.m. Then you get to the point where the storm could be up in the air enough where the forecasters are not confident enough to put out that 100% chance. So here is Hilda on satellite imagery, and you can see that there's plenty of convection, especially on the northeastern side of the storm. But we also have some bands outside the storm, producing some showers here and an area of rotation right in here. So it is looking very good for a tropical storm, and if that convection continues, we might have a hurricane on our hands very quickly. So here is the current storm information. Let's start off with our global and hurricane models. So most of the models have this taking the same route here, that west-northwest track. Some of those models here have it pulling off of that track early. Most have it staying true to that course for at least the next 3 or 4 days. So that is good to see that consistency there. And the GFS and the GEPS kind of have that same route there, which is also a good thing. Now, intensity guidance. This is where things get all over the place. So there are a few models that show this staying as a tropical storm throughout its entire lifespan, but most models do take this to a Category 1 hurricane, and a couple take it to a Category 2. If I was to say anything here, I would think this stays at a Category 1 hurricane. I don't see it going over that mark. But of course, that could change. We could see things become more conducive for development. So here is Weather Nerds, and we're just going to see the European ensemble, which also shows that west-northwest track. So again, more consistency, also a good thing. So here is the HWRF model, and this is where we're going to be tracking the strength and intensity of the storm. So let's get right on into it. So you can see the low pressure here, currently at 1,003 millibars, and that starts to lower very quickly here. So the storm is strengthening. You can see a clearly defined center as this storm continues to progress. All the thunderstorms start to kind of make an eye wall right around the center. We also have some banding that forms, 991 millibars now, and it continues to drop, 988 now, and a lot of thunderstorm activity now on the southwestern portion of the storm. And eventually we get down to 985. This area you start to really see hurricane strength, 978 even more so. And this continues to drop down, and we're at 970 here, and the entire eye wall is practically all thunderstorms. You really don't have these spots where it does weaken a little bit. I mean, you do have some on the northwest side, but it's not a huge difference. And especially now, when we start to get into the more mature phase of the storm, everything is very balanced. So eventually, all of that starts to weaken off, and we see this go back to a tropical storm and eventually tropical depression. Now, in terms of wind speeds here, we're going to go back around here, and you can see that right now we are right at the very limited part of the tropical storm force winds, and eventually throughout the day today we'll see that strengthen into a strong tropical storm, or even into a minor category 1 hurricane right on the lowest end of that spectrum. But eventually, of course, as this does strengthen, we could see that intensity really pick up around the entirety of the storm. So that purple is there, that means hurricane force winds, and that continues for a while here, moving into Monday and Tuesday with those hurricane force winds, and eventually throughout the day on Tuesday, this weakens back into a tropical storm and continues to fade off. So another storm in the East Pacific. We are expecting a lot more of these. We have 2 other invests at the moment, one of which has formed to a tropical depression. That'll be a story for another time, but that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.